Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Listen to Talk English podcast. I'm Luna.
And I'm Roy. We are so happy you are here with us today to learn English.
That's right, Roy. Today we have a very interesting topic for all of you who are just starting to learn English.
Yes, Luna. Today we are going to talk about thinking in English.
Thinking in English. It sounds a little bit difficult, maybe?
It can sound difficult, but it's actually a very important step when you are learning a new language. And we have some easy ways to help you start doing it.
Exactly. So, our topic for today is, how can you start thinking in English?
Let's start with the basics. What does it mean to think in English?
That's a good question, Roy. For many people who are learning English, when they want to say something, they first think about it in their own language.
Yes, that's very common. They think in their language, and then they try to translate it into English words.
And that can take a lot of time, right?
It can, and sometimes the translation is not exactly right. The meaning can be a little different.
So, thinking in English means that when you want to say something, you don't first think in your language. You think directly in English words.
That's right. It means your brain starts to use English automatically without needing to translate.
It sounds like a big step. Why is it helpful to think in English?
Well, there are many good reasons. First, it makes you speak faster. When you don't need to translate, the words come out more quickly.
That makes sense. It's like when you are talking in your own language, you don't think about every single word, right?
Exactly. It becomes more natural. Second, thinking in English can help you understand English better.
How does that work?
When you start to think in English, you start to understand the way English speakers think about things. You understand the little differences in meaning that can get lost in translation.
Oh, I see. So it's not just about the words, but also about the way of thinking.
Yes, that's right. And third, it can make learning English more fun.
Fun? How?
Well, when you realize you are starting to think in English, even just a little bit, it feels like a big achievement. It shows you that you are really making progress.
That's true. It must feel very good. Okay, so we know what it means to think in English and why it's helpful. Now, how can our listeners actually start doing it?
That's the most important question. And the good news is, you can start doing it even if you are a beginner. It doesn't mean you have to think about big, complicated ideas in English right away.
No, definitely not. We need to start small and easy. So, what's the first thing someone can do?
The first thing I would suggest is to think about simple, everyday objects in English.
Can you give us an example?
Sure, look around you right now. What do you see? Maybe you see a table. Instead of thinking the word for table in your language, try to think the English word, table.
That sounds easy enough. What else?
Maybe you see a chair, think chair. A book, think book. A window, think window.
So, just practice naming the things around you in English in your mind.
Exactly. You can do this anywhere, anytime, when you are at home, when you are outside, on the bus. Just look at things and say the English word to yourself in your head.
That's a great tip. What's another way to start thinking in English?
Another simple way is to talk to yourself in English.
Talk to yourself? That sounds a little strange.
It might sound strange, but it's very helpful. You don't have to say it out loud if you don't want to. You can just think simple sentences in English.
Like what kind of sentences?
Very simple things. For example, if you are feeling happy, you can think, I am happy. If you are feeling a little tired, you can think, I am tired.
Okay, I see. Simple feelings and simple states.
Yes. Or you can think about what you are doing. I am walking. I am eating. I am drinking water.
So, just describe your actions in simple English sentences in your head.
Exactly. It helps your brain get used to using English words to describe your thoughts and actions.
That's a good idea. What's next?
Another thing you can do is to change the language of your phone or your social media to English.
Oh, that's interesting. How would that help?
Well, you use your phone and social media every day, right? So you will see English words all the time. Words like settings, notifications, friends, like, comment.
So, even if I don't understand all of them at first, I will start to see them and maybe learn what they mean over time.
Exactly. And because you know what those buttons and words do in your own language, you can start to connect them with the English words. It's like learning new vocabulary without even trying too hard.
That's a smart way to do it. What else can our listeners try?
You can also try watching simple English videos,
Like what kind of videos?
maybe cartoons for children or very basic English lessons on YouTube. The important thing is that the language is simple and the topics are easy to understand.
And when they are watching, what should they try to do?
Try to think about what you are seeing in English. For example, if you see a cartoon of a cat playing with a ball, try to think cat, ball, play. You can even try to think simple sentences like, the cat is playing with the ball.
So, connect the English words with the images they are seeing.
Yes, that's right. It helps you understand the meaning without needing to translate.
That sounds helpful. What about listening to English?
Listening is also very important. You can try listening to simple English songs.
Simple songs? Like children's songs?
Yes, or just songs that use easy words and have a clear rhythm. When you listen, try to understand the words in English. You can even read the lyrics, the words of the song, while you listen.
So try to follow along with the English words and understand their meaning.
Exactly. And as you listen more, you might start to think about the meaning of the words in English without needing to think about your own language.
That makes sense. What's another tip for our listeners?
You can use English flashcards.
Flashcards? How can they help with thinking in English?
Well, when you see an English word on a flashcard, try to think of the meaning in English as well, if you know it. If you see a picture on the flashcard, try to think of the English word for it right away, without thinking of the word in your own language first.
So, it's about making that direct connection between the picture or the English word and its meaning in English.
Yes, exactly. It helps to bypass your native language.
Good idea. What else can people do?
You can try reading very simple English books or comics,
What kind of books?
books that are written for very young children or for people who are just starting to learn English. They use very simple words and short sentences.
And when they are reading, what should they focus on?
Try to understand the story in English. Don't stop to translate every single word. Try to guess the meaning from the pictures and the other words around it. And as you read, try to think about the characters and what they are doing using English words in your mind.
So, imagine the story happening in English in their head.
Yes, that's the idea.
What's another simple trick?
You can try labeling things around your house with English words.
Labeling? Like putting little pieces of paper with English words on things?
Exactly. Put a label that says table on the table, door on the door, window on the window, book on your book.
How does this help with thinking in English?
Every time you look at that object, you will see the English word. It will help you remember the English word and start to think of that object using its English name.
That's a very visual way to learn and think in English. I like that idea. What else can our listeners try?
You can try to think about your daily routine in simple English sentences.
Can you give us an example of a daily routine?
Sure, think about what you do in the morning. I wake up. I get out of bed. I brush my teeth. I eat breakfast.
So, just go through your day in your mind and describe your actions using simple English sentences.
Yes. You can do this while you are doing those things, or you can think about it later in the day. It helps you practice using English to describe your life.
That's a great way to practice. What's one more tip for our beginner listeners?
Focus on learning common high-frequency words.
What are high-frequency words?
These are the words that people use most often in English. Words like the, a, is, are, go, come, eat, drink. If you know these basic words well, you can start to build simple sentences and think in English more easily.
So, it's important to have a good foundation of basic English vocabulary.
Absolutely. Once you know these common words, you can start to put them together to form simple thoughts in English.
These are all very helpful tips, Roy, but I'm sure some of our listeners might find it difficult at first. What would you say to them?
That's a good point, Luna. It's important to remember that it takes time and practice. Don't get discouraged if you can't think in English all the time right away. It's a process.
Yes, be patient with yourself. It's like learning any new skill. It gets easier with practice.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes when they are learning a new language. The important thing is to keep one trying.
And maybe start with just one or two of these tips, and gradually add more as they feel more comfortable.
Yes, that's a good idea. You don't have to do everything at once. Choose the tips that seem easiest for you and start there.
And remember that even thinking just one word in English instead of your own language is a step in the right direction.
That's right, Luna. Every little bit helps.
So, to summarize, we talked about what it means to think in English and why it's helpful, and we gave you some simple ways to start doing it, like thinking about objects in English, talking to yourself in English, changing your phone language, watching simple videos, listening to simple songs, using flashcards, reading simple books, labeling things, thinking about your routine in English and focusing on common words.
Yes, Luna, and remember, the goal is not to think perfectly in English all the time, especially when you are a beginner. The goal is to start making that connection between your thoughts and the English language.
Exactly. And with practice, it will become easier and more natural.
We hope these tips are helpful for you.
Yes, we really do. We want to help you on your English learning journey.
So, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Listen to Talk English podcast.
Thank you so much for listening.
And if you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Yes, please subscribe so you don't miss any of our future episodes. We have lots more helpful tips and interesting topics coming up.
And we would love to hear from you. In the comments below, tell us what you think about this topic. Have you tried thinking in English before? What are some of the challenges you face? What are some other tips you might have?
We read all your comments and we love hearing from you. It helps us know what kind of content is most helpful for you.
So, thank you again for listening.
Bye for now.
See you next time.